Good morning, students, and welcome to another online biology classroom of St. Michael's Academy. Today, I am going to continue excretory products and their elimination. So, let's start. So, first, I am going to discuss formation of urine. There are three main steps of urine formation. First one, glomerular filtration. Second one, reabsorption. And the third one is secretion. These processes ensure that only waste and excess water are removed from the body. You can see the first diagram where formation of urine, all the processes has been shown. First one, glomerular filtration, where it actually involves glomerulus and glomerular capsule. That means Bowman's capsule. That means it involves Malpighian corpuscle. Second one is tubular reabsorption. It actually happens in proximal convoluted tubule. And the third one is tubular secretion. It actually happens in distal convoluted tubule, which includes the collecting duct also and Henle's loop also. But mainly tubular secretion happens in distal convoluted tubule. So the first step is glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration is the first step in making urine. It is the process that your kidneys use to filter excess fluids and waste products out of the blood into the urine collecting tubules of the kidney. So they may be eliminated from your body. You can see the glomerular filtration. One is afferent and another one is efferent arteriole. This is Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. And that one is macula densa cells. Blue color one is macula densa cells. So glomerular filtration happens. You can see by dotted structure, it has been shown in the diagram that blood is getting in the glomerulus, and after filtration it is going out from the glomerulus. So afferent arteriole involves the blood to get in to the glomerulus, and efferent arteriole, through efferent arteriole it will go out. Second step is reabsorption. A large amount of reabsorption occurs in the PCT, that means proximal convoluted tubule. Reabsorption is when water and solutes within the PCT are transported into the bloodstream. The proximal tubules reabsorb about 65% of water, sodium, potassium, and chloride, 100% of glucose, 100% amino acids, and 85 to 90% of bicarbonate. Bicarbonate means HCO3. It's a radical. Next one, you can see in the diagram, it has been shown clearly that reabsorption is happening in the proximal convoluted tubular portion. And the third step and the last step is secretion. Tubular secretion is the transfer of materials from peritubular capillaries to the renal tubular lumen. It is the opposite process of reabsorption. This secretion is caused mainly by active transport and passive diffusion. Usually, only a few substances are secreted and are typically waste products. So you can see in this diagram, it has been clearly shown that from the peritubular capillaries actually to the renal tubular lumen, the secretion is happening. Tubular secretion is happening, which includes the collecting ducts also. Next topic that we are going to discuss, that is counter current system. A counter current mechanism system is a mechanism that expends energy to create a concentration gradient. For example, it can refer to the process that is underlying the process of urine concentration, that is the production of hyper osmotic urine by the mammalian kidney. So you can see in the diagram it has been clearly shown the concurring system of our urinary system. It starts with a glomerulus portion of Bowman's capsule and ends or extends till the collecting duct through proximal convoluted tubule, Henle's loop, and distal convoluted tubule. The next one is osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is the active regulation of the osmotic pressure of an organism's body fluids, detected by osmoreceptors to maintain the homeostasis of the organism's water content. That is, it maintains the fluid balance and the concentration of electrolytes. In the diagram, you can see in the collecting duct, this is the collecting duct, the middle portion, this is the collecting duct, and both are peritubular capillary. That means one is proximal and another one is distal convoluted tubule. The portion of it has been shown. So you can see clearly osmoregulation is happening, which involves water, which involves urine, and ADH. ADH is a hormone. Full form is antidiuretic hormone. Now we are going to discuss about constituent of urine. Normal urine has various organic and inorganic constituents. The normal inorganic constituents are chloride, phosphate, sulfates, calcium, etc. While organic constituents are urea, uric acid and creatinine. So these are the main constituent of urine. Now there are three major hormones that are involved in regulating sodium and water, sodium ion and water balance in the body at the level of the kidney. Antidiuretic hormone, that is ADH, from the posterior pituitary acts on the kidney to promote water reabsorption, thus preventing its loss in urine. You can see in the diagram the whole process has been shown. The Bowman's capsule, then in the proximal convoluted tubule portion, sodium ion and water has been shown, and amino acid and glucose. Please see the arrow properly. Next, in the distal convoluted tubule portion also, sodium ion and water, and in the loop of Henle also sodium ion and water. And in the collecting duct, aldosterone obviously is a hormone. ADH is a hormone which is helping in this process. Next one is urination or micturition. Urination is the release of urine from the urinary bladder through the urethra to the outside of the body. It is the urinary system's form of excretion. It is also known medically as micturition, voiding, uresis, or rarely emiction, and known colloquially by various names including peeing, weeing, and pissing. You can see in the diagram from central nervous system, that is pons and CNS total, including pons. Actually, total system of micturition or urination has been regulated. Now we are going to discuss the role of other organs, that means except kidneys, roles of other organs in excretion process. First, we are going to discuss role of skin in excretion. Sweat glands in the skin secrete a fluid waste called sweat or perspiration. However, its primary functions are temperature control and phenomenon release. Therefore, its role as a part of the excretory system is minimal. Sweating also maintains the level of salt in our body. Rather, you can see the diagram. Skin diagram has been given. epidermis, dermis, hypodermis, every layer of the skin has been shown here. How sweat is forming, where is sweat gland actually or sebaceous gland is situated, that also has been shown. Now the next one is role of liver in excretion. The liver regulates most chemical levels in the blood and excretes a product called bile. This helps carry away waste products from the liver. Production of bile, which helps carry away waste and break down fats in the small intestine during digestion. Production of certain proteins for blood plasma. So this is the actual role of liver in excretion. You can see in the second diagram, organs of excretion like this, a liver has been shown. Liver sends urea and uric acid to the kidneys. Liver sends hemoglobin breakdown and bile pigments to the intestine. Hemoglobin initial is Hb, capital H and small b. Now we can see the diagram of liver clearly. Number 3 is salivary gland. So role of salivary gland in excretion. Saliva is not truly an excretory route, however, as it is usually swallowed, thus allowing some drugs to be reabsorbed from the gastrointestinal tract. Few basic drugs inhibit saliva secretion and are responsible for mouth dryness. Compounds usually excreted in saliva are caffeine, phenytoin, and theophylline. You can see in the diagram the total process of how salivary gland actually involves in excretion. It has been shown. Next one, role of large intestine in excretion. The function of the large intestine is to get rid of food left over after the nutrients are removed from it, bacteria and other waste. First, liquid and salt is removed from the waste as it passes through the colon. Then the waste makes its way to the sigmoid where it is stored. You can see how actually large intestine is taking part in excretion. In the diagram, clearly it has been shown. And the last but not the least is role of lungs in excretion. The lungs in the respiratory system excrete some waste products such as carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide means CO2 and water means H2O. The skin is another excretory organ that rids the body of waste through the sweat glands. The liver and intestines excrete bile pigments that result from the destruction of hemoglobin. So in the diagram you can see the lungs also play a role in excretion. Lungs excrete carbon dioxide and water vapor by diffusion and exhalation. You can see in the diagram total respiratory tract of a human body has been shown along with the alveoli where actually the respiration happens. Thank you students. For any doubts or queries, please email me at shudeshna1.sma@outlook.com. We also welcome your responses by way of your views and feedback on the PPTs or videos at feedback.stmichaelsacademy@gmail.com. Thank you and have a nice day.